Everyone. I just came back after watching Animal. Finally, I could catch a show of Animal. I had promised myself that over the weekend I'm going to watch Animal and I'm going to give a rundown to all my YouTube viewers in my channel about what kind of a movie is it, whether you should watch it or not, and I will try my best to do so. I will be talking about the influences. I will be even talking about the criticism about this movie, and I'll even criticize that criticism. Okay, so it's going to be a very special video, and it's going to be a freewheeling video wherein I will be shifting from one topic to another because this movie is truly a landmark achievement for Bollywood cinema. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and compare it with the likes of Mother India or something like that, but for commercial Bollywood cinema, this is an event, and we should acknowledge it. We should try and understand the phenomena, and I will be trying to extract all the various influences which Sandeep Vanga Reddy used in this movie, and I'll try and make a video wherein you can truly understand exactly what this animal phenomena is, because right now it's in the second day and it's about 236 crores and counting. So there must be something within this movie which has worked with mainstream audience, and people are flocking to watch this movie over and over again. There are some people who are just watching it over and over again because there's a lot of replay value in this movie which you don't get in movies nowadays. So I will slowly and steadily talk about all these things, and hope you like this video. If you do like this video, please do subscribe to my channel. This is going to be one of my first in-depth analysis of a movie. The earlier videos I was an amateur, so I was really not doing that good a job, but I think this video is going to be a very interesting video, and I hope you watch it and I hope you enjoy it. So, firstly, it comes with a caveat. Now, if there are some people who don't like these kinds of movies, what I'm talking about is the movies which are made by Sandeep Vangareddy. And the template is very simple, the reference point is very simple. If you didn't like Arjun Reddy, if you don't like Kabir Singh, if you don't like these kinds of movies, don't watch. Don't watch Animal, because this is not your kind of poison. If you don't like these kinds of movies, if you want to watch all those Karan Johar sissy movies, if you want to watch a quiet movie and you don't like misogyny and you do not like toxic masculinity or whatever you might term it as, uh, please don't watch the movie, please. Because then what's happening is you're not exactly going ahead and critically analyzing a movie, you're critically analyzing a thought, you're critically analyzing a perception. So therein lies the difference. You do not like those kinds of movies. Now, suppose I tell you, do you like Serbian film? Do you like Hostel? Extreme gore, extremely rough gore movies. Do you like those kinds of movies? Would you like to watch those kinds of movies? No, there are some people who wouldn't like to watch those kinds of movies. They wouldn't like to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They wouldn't like to watch Friday the 13th because they don't like scary movies. They don't like extreme gore. So don't watch it. Now, if you watch it and you say it's a horrible movie, it's a bad movie, it's a disgusting movie, it's really bad, disgusting. You're saying it's bad and disgusting because you just don't like those kinds of movies. So that's the difference. Now, there are some people who like all kinds of movies. Like me, I'm omnivorous. I can watch any kind of movie. You can take me and watch. I can watch Rocky and Rani ki Prem Kahani. I can watch Sam Manekshaw. I can watch Animal. I can even watch Tiger 3, and I can go ahead and give you a very honest opinion on what I feel, because I really love movies. I love all kinds of movies. So, for a person like me, I will be analyzing the movie on its merits based on the brand of movie which it subscribes to. Okay, so Sandeep Vanga Reddy doesn't make any kind of apologies for the kind of movies he makes. He makes movies on toxic masculinity. He makes movies on misogyny. He makes these extremely strong, violent male characters and makes them very appealable to the general audience. Now, if you're asking me, that is something which is wrong, Well, that is another debate. So let's not get into that. Let's just talk about the movie and what are the merits and demerits of the movie on its own. Okay, let's not talk about the societal impact. Okay, that this is, Kabir Singh, after watching Kabir Singh, everybody started stuffing ice into their jeans. No, that is not the point here. The point here is he has made a movie. Let us talk about that movie, let us analyze it, and let us see whether it's really a good movie or not. Okay, so firstly, let me talk about one of the major influences behind the movie. What everybody's talking about Korean movie influence, this, that, and all that. Listen, Sandeep has done a very simple, he's followed a very simple template for this movie. The template is Godfather. So he has basically copied Godfather into a Hindi setting. It has happened earlier also, but this time around he was very clever. He played around with some of the pivotal moments and scenes of Godfather and he tweaked them. And the way he has tweaked them is he has tweaked them in a way that you can somehow see the influence, you can feel the inspiration, but it is bringing about a different flavor. Now I'll give you a small example. In Godfather, the family setting was you had Sonny, you had Michael, you had basically three brothers and one sister. Now here the setting is you actually have one brother and two sisters. So Ranbir Kapoor is the brother and he has two sisters. So the family dynamics change. Secondly, in Godfather, we had Vito Corleone, who was a Godfather, isn't it? So he was somebody who was, in other ways, he was an anti-hero or he was evil. He was a strong man. Here, Anil Kapoor essentially is not exactly a Godfather. Okay, he is a kind of a businessman, but he's a businessman who really doesn't give time to his son or his family. He's basically involved with his business, but he is per se not Godfather. He's not a character like Marlon Brando who is going ahead and managing an empire on his own, or he's sending people to kill others or something like that. He's not an evil character. That is something which his son becomes in order to protect his father. Now, the setting is exactly the same, but what happens in Animal is, as you can very clearly see from the trailer, and it is not a spoiler, you can pretty well understand that it is this son who's trying to seek validation from his father because he wants to be like his father, but his father ignores him and his father does not give him time. So eventually he turns into a monster in order to validate his love and everything to his father. But essentially it starts from the second act of The Godfather when Vito Corleone, there's an assassination attempt on Vito Corleone, and Michael Corleone comes back from hibernation. He was in the army, and he comes back, and he essentially takes the reign of his father's empire. So this is exactly the basic setting. So what happens is he starts from the second act of Godfather. He jumps one act, he starts from the second act of The Godfather and how Ranbir Kapoor gets back and he starts trying to track his father's killer. Who are they? And the difference is he basically takes Michael Corleone's character and puts it into Sonny Corleone's shoes. So you've got a loud, crazy son who's like a juggernaut, who just goes like a steamroller and just finishes everybody up. And that is it. And one of those pivotal scenes of Godfather, spoiler alert, where yeah, Michael Corleone takes out his brother-in-law. That scene is also there, but the difference is the editing is so superb in this movie. The editing is done so well. It's basically, the editing is done like comic book panels. If you watch this movie, you will see a lot of influences of a lot of comics in this movie, because the editing in the comic, I mean to say, when you rush from one frame to another, it is exactly synonymous to the way Sandeep Vanga Reddy has cut the frames in this movie. So he jumps very quickly to some of the final acts of Godfather. And it is no secret, again, spoiler alert, that he takes out his brother in law, and he takes out in a kind of a major setting with it's a small kind of a congregation or a gathering, and he takes him out just there. Okay, now again, that scene where he takes out his brother in law, the influence is very, very comic bookish. Very comic bookish, because you essentially see him walking into this huge room of people, and everybody's terrorized. They tell them to just close their ears, and he just finishes a person off. And it is reminiscent of the way you probably see Joker or Two Face or any kind of these crazy villains in these comics who go ahead and does a dastardly act in the setting of a very quiet ambient way or a occasion or something like that. And you will probably see another influence, very interesting, if you watch Mirzapur season 1. If you watch the climax of Mirzapur season 1, you will you will know that this is something which is being used in movies and OTTs very, very clearly, that you actually go ahead and disrupt an occasion, a kind of an happy occasion, or maybe a kind of a setting where people are feel somewhat safe and secure, and you just walk in and there's a major kind of a violent act which is committed there and everything. So these are influences which you actually you're getting from these comics, and they are putting it into these things. For example, Red Wedding. Think about it. It's a happy occasion, Red Wedding. It's one of the most pivotal scenes of Game of Thrones. You feel safe, you feel secure till the point when the bugle starts blowing, and then you know that Rob Stark is in trouble, right? But this is the way these scenes are being sculpted. It's very interesting that we are seeing these influences, major pop influences, in these movies. I saw that scene and I could really make out that it was something based on that. But the editing of that scene is incredible, incredible, because instead of waiting for a point where he actually kills his brother-in-law, because again, that scene, he brings it forward. Sandeep Vanga Reddy brings it forward, and he edits it in a way that you have to try and find out what is the justification behind his act. So it's a series of flashbacks from that point onwards. It has been very expertly edited. The first half, I will have to say, it is just a work of art. It's a work of art when it comes to pop inferences, pop influences, and the way he has taken inspirations from graphic novels, from comics, and everything. ভালো একটু বন্ধ করবে? So it is an extremely beautiful way he has depicted all these points, and he has gone ahead and the honestly speaking, the screenplay of the first half is so top notch that you cannot even catch a breath. Now, if you're asking me, is again, let me be very frank with you. This is not something where which I'm saying it will go for the Oscars or the Golden Globe. But if you're talking about commercial Bollywood cinema or any kind of commercial Indian cinema, the screenplay of the first half is as perfect as it could be, because each and every moment, each and every scene is so well put, and it is Sandeep Vanga Reddy at his animal best. At his animal best, I can tell you. The first half, I'll tell you, I just could not find any fault with the first half. What I did find out, yes, there were lot of influences of Godfather in it. The key points where he's trying to go ahead and talk to his sister, like embracing her. It was very, very similar to the scene in Godfather where he actually embraces his elder brother, and then he looks at his hitman, Al Pacino. There's a scene like that here also. So there are a lot of scenes which he has gone ahead and used from Godfather, but he has just twisted them a little bit. He has just gone ahead and perked them, tweaked them up a little bit. that you can, maybe some people can catch it, some people can't, but he has done it in a very filmy way which works. And uh, then what happens is, as you can see, that of course it's just one scene after another of really high points. The beauty of this movie is that there is not, many people might say that's a weakness, but the build-ups are also the high points of the movie. Usually a movie is sculpted in a way that there are some quiet moments where you can catch your breath, and those moments lead up to a high point. But the thing about the first half is that you just have one high point after another, and every high point is actually contributing to another one which is scaling the peak. So it's a very, very difficult balance to maintain, but he does it, and it culminates with a climax which is crazy. And I'll tell you what the climax, you all can understand, is that extended 18-minute action sequence, or the gunfight scene. And he really, you can probably say the first half in short is like a capsule movie. In short is like, you can just take the first half and say this is a movie. It's so good because it just takes it to a point, and then he just, it's like, I just don't know. It's like he goes ahead for a slingshot. He does a slingshot. It goes to a high point, and then from there he again jumps, and it is incredible. The the climax of the first half, which I would like to say, is basically John Wick meets South Indian action, and it is an incredible extravaganza. It is basically John Wick meets South Indian action. And the first part is that, of course, the gunfights and all these things, and because the climax, the action scenes is broken up into a lot of parts. It is broken up into a lot of parts. It's very interesting things. There are three parts to the climax, to the action scene. The first part is basically John Wick meets South Indian cinema, wherein he's wearing a lungi or a dhoti and he's gunning everybody down, and people are just screaming and shouting, because honestly speaking, at that point of time, subconsciously you're feeling that an Indian guy has taken out John Wick. Honestly speaking, you just feel like that, एक धोती लेके एक AK-47 लेके चला दिया भाई, चलो भाई. And that is just orgasmic pleasure. I'll tell you, I'm very sorry about it, but that is how you feel about that scene. Now the second part of that action scene, which is very interesting, again he has taken inspiration from one of the greatest action scene of all times, and that is Old Boy. In Old Boy there is an action scene wherein the protagonist takes out people with a hammer, and he has taken inspiration from it. And the beauty of that scene again is, he's very, very clever, because he knew that Sandeep Vanga Reddy knew that he cannot make it too violent. So what he does is, he puts these peoples with metal skeleton heads. So what happens is, when you're killing these people, the violence is so intense, but you're not seeing their faces. Because if you see their faces, trust me, the Indian audience will get nauseated. They will. I'll be very frank with you. Sandeep is so clever. He knew that this scene, he had to put masks on the people to impersonalize these people, because there are many people in the audience who could not have gulped down the horror of this scene. I'll be very frank with you. There are some women, there are some men there. They have weak stomachs. They could not take that scene. And when you watch, like, Ranbir Kapoor mowing these people down with an axe, but they are wearing these metal skull heads and everything, you're impersonalizing everything, because he's killing, if you're killing one, you're killing many also. It's a little bit like Matrix. So you really don't care that so many people are dying, but you're just going with the gusto of the scene. It's an incredible thing which he has done. And I was just amazed with the ingenuity of this scene, and how, like, he mounted it, because he knew that this scene was going to be difficult. So he personalized each and every person whom Ranbir Kapoor, like, just axes through. And then finally, after that, we have the mother of all guns. You know, you've watched it in the trailer. He takes it and he mows everybody down. So it is just an incredible scene, and I honestly, after a while, in the interval scene, people were probably pausing for a while and saying that should we go for the popcorn or should we go for the restroom, or they were so, it was like they were thawed. Okay, they were thawed. They were thawed. They could not move. My wife could not move. She was just being up. On, please go. I'm making a video. Okay. So they were just numb with shock. It took them some time to recover from this scene. And then they said, yeah, let's go to piss to the bathroom, or let's get our popcorn, let's get our things. You know, that it's that intense a scene, it's that's incredible and intermission. So first half, I will have to say it is insane, and I could not find anything wrong. And the basic things are a lot of inspiration from Godfather, a lot of inspiration from anime and manga, inspiration from John Wick, inspiration from Old Boy, and he has mounted it so well that it works. It works like a nightmare, which propels a dream. That's what it is like. I have no other words. Now, a lot of people are hating the second half. A lot of people are saying, the second half, it falls, it does not go as planned, we really don't know. Now, let me be very frank with you. In all these movies, it's basically the motive, with the leitmotiv you follow is the hero's journey. Okay, now in hero's journey, usually the hero's journey, if you look at a hero's journey, if you look at movies or stories or anything, it's essentially he starts on a quest, he goes ahead and completes a part of the quest, then he's severely injured. Okay, he's severely injured by the villain or somebody, and then he recovers. Okay, and after he recovers, then he has to again face a big evil. It could be the villain who has possibly maimed him or killed, like injured him, or maybe a bigger evil. So essentially, in the second half, also, it is just that it is the recovery part. Now, when you're looking at the recovery part, usually things slow down, and at that point of time, what they try to do, what Sandeep basically tries to do, is he doesn't have any tricks to play at that point of time. I'll be very frank with you, because he has used the final act of Godfather, the third or the final act of Godfather. So what does he do now? Because at this point of time, Godfather ends. So he has to think about a certain way to bring the hero's journey back and make Ranbir face a bigger evil. Right? Because already he has completed his act. He has saved his father. He has killed a certain villain who was after his father. He has killed a whole bunch of people, and the climax is just out of the world, which is of the, I mean to say, of the interval part. So people are saying, what will he do now? So he's hurt, he's injured, he recovers, and the recovery, usually what Sandeep Anga Reddy does, he takes the a person through the journey of that person, so that he feels for the person or something like that. Now, it's very difficult to feel for a person like the animal or Ranbir Kapoor's character. So it gets slowed down a little bit. You more and more about the family comes into play. So people are just like, अरे यार फिर से क्या वो रोना धोना चालू and all that thing. But it's essential, because you need to kind of slow things down a little bit. What could be done? I honestly don't know what could have been done in the second half. I think he did okay. I'm not saying it is a great second half, but if you have such a huge first half and you use all the tricks of one of your major inspiration, the second half, a little part of it will fall. And it is good it falls. I feel the second half is also good. I'm not saying it's great, but it is good. Because second half, if you had continued with the momentum, people would have got exhausted by the time they reach the climax. So it falls a little bit. It goes into his recovery, his relationship with his wife. Then they bring in the angle of, spoiler alert, Zoya. Okay, which part is a little, it's I would say it's little dragged, but again, at the top of it, what I really liked was very interesting, which Sandeep did, because you see Zoya's entry into this animal's life. I'm calling him animal. I'm sorry. I'm not going to call him by Balbir Singh and all that. The animal's life is a kind of a twist. It has a twist. So there's one scene I was very impressed. Randeep Vanga Reddy makes Zoya like when you're talking with animal, she's holding a book of Jeffrey Deaver. So that was I love that touch, because I'll tell you why. I don't know whether you guys have read Jeffrey Deaver or not. Jeffrey Deaver is considered the master of short stories with twists, and Zoya's entry into Ranbir's life at that moment is a major twist. Is a major twist, and we can make it out the twist. We can make it out a little bit, but uh, that book part I loved it, because I think he tried to kind of convey that to the viewer. I don't know whether Sandeep Ranga Reddy is watching my video, but if you're watching my video, please comment and tell me whether you really meant that Zoya's entry into that part was a twist. Of course, it's a twist, which you can somewhat guess. But putting that book of Deaver in her hand, were you trying to put a red herring or saying that yes, this is the twist, so that's why I want her to have that book? He could have put anybody's book into her hand, a Barbara Cartland or something. The fact that he put a Deaver there, a Jeffrey Deaver book there, that was lovely. I loved that touch, man. I loved it. Perfect. There was another scene, but I think he didn't do well with that scene. Was that confession to the Pope? Confession to the Pope is one of the like like one of the best scenes. Like, people don't talk about Godfather 3, but in Godfather 3, Al Pacino makes a confession to the priest. Okay, and it's one of the least favorite of all the Godfather movies, right? If Godfather 1 and 2 are the best, right? You cannot, like, those two are the best. In Godfather 3, many people haven't watched it. Many people have some reservations, issues about it. But I'll tell you, in Godfather 3, one of the greatest scenes which stand out, a masterclass from Al Pacino, is when he confesses his sins to the priest. And that is one of the most electrifying scenes of the movie. Here, he puts in that scene. I think he has cut that scene out. He has cut that scene out, because that scene, they just see the priest saying he's a shaitan, he's a Satan or something like that. But what does Ranveer confess to? What does he confess to? Like, again, I think it was a very loud thing which Sandeep tried to do with thing. He basically he wanted to show that he had no regrets or anything. But he puts that scene, and again, that's inspired. Because listen, out of the blues, why will Ranbir try to kind of confess to the priest or something like that, or being coaxed and cajoled to? Again, that is again an inspiration from Godfather 3, that scene. I wish he had done something interesting with that scene. We don't know what happened or whether he has edited that scene out, but would love to see it in the unedited version, what was there in the scene. Now, oh, cut a long story short, should you watch Animal, right? Despite many people saying that it really doesn't have a great second half, yes, you should. You must. Everybody's talking about Bobby Deol's cameo, this and that, and all that. I'll be frank with you. Whatever little screen time he has, Bobby Deol devours it. And the fight between Bobby Deol and Ranbir Kapoor delivers. It delivers beyond imagination. And there again, that is a very, very interesting thing which Sandeep Vanga Reddy does, because the beauty of this movie is the way he mounts it, the way he uses various genres, and he does not like isolate or stop himself from in one genre. He goes ahead and pays homage to one of the greatest movies which we all love, which all the 90s kids love. He pays a homage to, guess what? He pays a homage to John Woo's Face Off. Can you believe it? That was awesome. If any one of you have watched Face Off, in Face Off, one of the most celebrated scenes is the first scene where John Travolta goes after Nicolas Cage on the plane and he stops him with cars, you know. That is one of the greatest scenes of all time in Face Off. In fact, Face Off, if you watch it, you'll say that that is the scene. That is the scene. Climax से भी better था. It was so amazing, and he pays homage to that. Ranbir is in all these cars and he goes ahead and he stops Bobby Deol, who's about to take flight in a private jet, and he stops them. Even the car makeup and everything is similar to Face Off. And he stops it and then they go at it man oh man. The fight is amazing. It is one of the greatest fight scenes between two men. Fight choreography is it's on another level. It's on another level. I have never ever seen ever watched a fight between two men. And this is where I have a reservation. I think this is where finally he shows gore. Everybody is talking about gore. I'll tell you something. We watch gore. I watch extremely violent movies. Extremely lot of this is not gore, man. This gore is basically you're cutting the scene or the frame in a moment and you see just blood on the person's face and you're just seeing this person axing him or killing him or whatever. And as I told you, the major gore scenes, he's been very clever. He has possibly masked those people with metal skeleton heads or something. So you know, the gore part is not much. Actually, it is not much. You don't really get to see, like, if you're talking to me about gore, I will say mutilation, actual disfigurement, actual blowing up of people's faces and stuff like that. You know, that is gore. This is not gore. But yes, in the fight between Ranbir Kapoor and Bobby Deol, finally he shows gore. Finally, he shows a frontal kill, which I felt was little disturbing. I think he could have edited the scene better. I don't think that was required. I think that was an overkill. I don't know why he put it. Maybe he felt that that was required for that scene. I think everybody swiveled at that scene because that was the moment when you suddenly realize, oh damn it, man, this has gone too far. That was a moment when actually women looked away because the when he kind of kills uh, Bobby Deol. Again, spoiler alert, but we all know that it happens. So um, I do not want to like say if you want to watch the movie, watch it, but you all know that he's the hero. He will win at the end. I'm not going to say anything else, and you're going to watch a lot of videos all on that. But yes, there is a complete frontal kill in this, wherein you actually see blood flowing, throat being cut, and all that. And I felt that was something which I felt could be avoided. I don't think that was required. He was trying for a kind of a U certificate. He did not get it. But this kind of a movie, you will not get a U certificate, Sandeep Vangareddy. This is an A movie. Accept it. We all love it. We enjoyed it. That's it. Okay. Now, what else? Just watch it. You will be entertained beyond words. And yes, there are a lot of criticisms that you know you've got these characters like Shakti Kapoor, you've got Anil Kapoor, Rashmika Mandana, then we have Bobby. They are all being reduced to props and run. Listen, uh, Sandeep Vanga Reddy makes movies like this. The central character is a male alpha male character, and all around him, and they are just there. So basically, the main focus is on the main alpha male, and if he can't deliver, he can't deliver. Vijay could deliver, Shahid Kapoor could deliver, Ranbir Kapoor has delivered. So I don't think we should have any complaints. Rashmika gets one scene. She does an okay job. Again, that is reminiscent of a very famous scene between Al Pacino and Kay, where Kay tells Al Pacino that she has aborted a child, and Al Pacino reacts violently. So I would say that scene is inspired from there, and of course also by various Homelander scenes. You know, because in Homelander, if you watch The Boys, Homelander treats women or girls like absolutely they are like rubbish, you know, the way he treats Homelander. So there are some very close up camera sequences of Homelander clutching the throat of women and holding. So I think the way he just positioned the frame and everything, I felt that that scene was very much similar to those various multiple scenes of Homelander manhandling women in The Boys. So I think he was inspired by that also. So, all in all, Sandeep Vanga Reddy is influenced by various works, but he juxtaposes them, he uses them in such an electrifying way that you are in total awe, nothing else. Now, what else? Um, Brilliant, brilliant movie. I just enjoyed it. I just loved it. I even think the second half, it's very difficult to actually mount a second half as good as a first half for a movie like this, but still he does a commendable job. Yes, there are points you might feel a little bored, but things will pick up. You know that things will pick up because you know eventually big evil Bobby Deol is there and he does an incredible job. And what else? Lot of thought about the post credit scene. Yeah, listen, post credit scene. We all know who the person is, right? Who the antagonist, who the main antagonist is going to be. Now, the fact of the matter is this movie will work also. Animal Park will also work. It's not as if it will not work, because basically in Animal Park you will have a Ranbir Kapoor who's very cool and dapper and he's very suave and he's got this crazy manic joker angle to himself. And you will of course have this Ranbir Kapoor who's little different, who's crazy, but he's not as crazy as this guy, right? But my point here is I don't know how well it will work when Ranbir Kapoor faces up against Ranbir Kapoor. How the market is going to accept it, you know. Maybe, yeah, it should work, but audience is more keen to watch two different antagonists going at it. But I think this will again be a like a exposition for Ranbir Kapoor to explore new angles, and I really feel that finally Ranbir Kapoor has come into his own, because I always used to feel that Rishi Kapoor was a better actor than Ranbir Kapoor, but with this, what he has proven is he has gone into another genre which his father could not do ever. His father could not be an Amitabh Bachchan. His father could not be a Dharmender, right? His father always did romantic roles, and I still feel Rishi Kapoor is a more spontaneous actor than Ranbir Kapoor. I always felt so, because Ranbir Kapoor is a very studied actor who studies things and does it. But what he has done with this is he has transitioned into something which is incredible. He was a complete romantic hero, a chocolate boy, and all these things. The darling of the crowds who speaks softly, sings lovey-dovey songs, and then suddenly this kind of a change. Of course, we know that Shemshera was bad. I'm taking this copyright from Rantman, but still, like, to kind of go into this kind of a dimension and deliver this kind of a performance, just wow. I'm amazed, and uh, yes, I can have a debate on how this movie should influences people and all those things. Listen, you will always have movies like this, yeah. You will always have movies like this. What will you say? Will you say Gangs of Wasipur was a great, nice movie? Yes, but yes, all the Godfathers and everybody, they used to be a little subservient to the women. The Anurag Kashyap had put in that small touch there. But extremely violent movies, right? You don't know how it's going to influence people, how it's going to impact people. I feel if a person is evil, if a person has a disposition towards evil, if a person has a disposition towards doing something bad, be it a book, be it a movie, be it a scene from an OTT, he will do something bad, you know. It's for you to realize or understand what this movie signifies. For me, honestly speaking, when I watched this movie, I felt like, yes, I felt like clutching my family a little closer, you know. It's how you interpret the movie. I felt that a father's bond with his son, it got gets rekindled at the end, and There's a very positive vibe to the movie at the very end. I felt that way. Um, I could feel the pain of Ranbir when his children were being taken away from him. And honestly speaking, if you're married with kids, this movie will probably work for you on a different level. This is a movie you should watch right now in a hall. Love it, hate it, do whatever you want to do with it. This is a visual spectacle which works beyond words. Yes, there are parts, there are segments in the second half. You might feel that the screenplay is meandering, what is happening, this, that, all that, but things will pick up. Give it some time. A movie like this, it's like, you climb the Everest and then suddenly you say that, hey, let's jump to the moon. You can't have it that way. It's like you climb to the Everest and then you possibly go down a little bit and then you say, let's climb the Kilimanjaro. It's something like that. And that is how a movie works. You cannot have you cannot keep on escalating heights because the movie does not work that way. So watch it with a pinch of salt and I think you will love it. You will love it. This is the movie to watch. Total paisa vasool entertainment. Lot of replay value. This movie is going to be a monster hit. This is going to break the records of Pathan. This is going to break the records of Jawan. Let's not even talk about Tiger 3 because that is a video game. Pathan and Tiger 3 are video games. If you like video games, if you I play video games, so I have played Uncharted, I have played Call of Duty. Basically, YRF, what they are doing is they are taking action set pieces from Mission Impossible, Fast and Furious, Call of Duty, Uncharted, and they are just stringing all of them together and putting some sort of a stupid story in between. So that is what I saw in Pathan and what is this movie's name here? Tiger Thief. Okay. Now I don't subscribe to that kind of movies. If I want, I will play video games. I will not watch that movie. I think it's stupid. Okay. Now, yes, Jawan was interesting because Jawan was a veiled political statement in the form of a potboiler, and I liked it. I liked Atlee's direction, and that is something which I felt was very interesting. It was a very interesting experiment, which I enjoyed. Okay, and Animal is just a Bollywood cinema at its animal best, or maybe worst, however you want to see it. Um, as I told you, he has packed and crammed various influences. The main template being Godfather. Otherwise, I personally would give it 4.5 stars out of 5. Thank you everyone for sitting through this 43-minute 12-second video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you watch Animal, and my only thought is watch it and give it your view. And again, if your wife does not like violence, if your girlfriend does not like violence, they hate these kinds of movies, don't take them for these movies. Okay, just don't take them for these movies. Don't take your parents for this movie also, but you go with your buddies, go with your girlfriends who loves Ranbir Kapoor. There are some women who love Ranbir Kapoor and they're digging it. In the crowd where I was, I could make out at least 50-50 women were there. They were enjoying it. There is only one cringeworthy scene at the end, I mean to say, when it comes to violence, that Bobby Deol and um, um, this fight, Bobby Deol and Ranbir Kapoor fight. Apart from that, the violence is there. Of course, if you're nauseated with the sight of blood and all that, it happens. But you're not going to see disfigurement or mutilation frontal anywhere except for that moment. So people are talking too much gore. I don't think it's like it's portrayed that way. Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone. Love you all, and this is again a very big video from me, a very long video. Hope you enjoy it. Bye. Take care.